Hey guys, I'm JT Fellows, a senior communication major at CSU with integrated media concentration. And for my research project, I chose to do my topic on the agenda setting theory. And so for those of you who don't really know what the agenda setting theory is, I made this PowerPoint. And really with this, I'm talking about the agenda setting theory and how it relates to other media-based theories. So some background on the agenda setting theory. It was created in 1972 by Maxwell McCombs and Donald Shaw. The idea for the theory came from the 1968 presidential election. After watching media coverage, both McCombs and Shaw saw some things that had the media was portraying both candidates, and they came up with the basis for the theory. Now, by definition, the agenda setting theory is basically saying that the media is telling us what to think about and how to think about it by the processes of agenda setting and framing, which framing is really just how certain news networks or the anchors, reporters put their own spin on the story or a person. So it kind of affects how us as viewers see that story or that person they're talking about. My paper specifically explores the intellectual roots of the agenda setting theory and shows its relationships to other media-based theories. The agenda setting theory goes with framing and cultivation theories, and in my paper I propose to do an academic study dealing with race relations in the U.S. Now here's a video that I found on YouTube. I didn't make it, but it's one that I found that really kind of explained the race issue in our nation today. And hopefully this proposed study will kind of help, I wouldn't say solve it, but kind of help combat that issue.
Funny how the media covers white riots versus black protests.
Breaking news.
Seems like when the protesters are black, the media uses some pretty harsh words.
The bad guys. Lawlessness, looting.
Wild animals.
Criminals and thugs.
Thugs. Isn't it the right word?
However, if you're white and you're tearing up the city because of a game, you're just young people.
Young people danced on a flipped-over car.
As UK fans did stupid things.
Some maybe got a little out of control.
Seeing a scene like this just shows how passionate the UK fans are.
It's so tough to lose, and unfortunately the ugly side that we sometimes see in sports.
And notice how the police always show up to a black protest in military-grade equipment, and yet the media claims they're just doing nothing.
It's inexplicable why the police are doing nothing.
Let's mobilize the National Guard.
If I'm a rioter and I see the police doing nothing, I might feel like I have a license.
You would.
But at white riots, the cops actually are standing around doing nothing.
Another group of cops over there just standing there.
No one was really doing anything.
These guys look like they could be watching a parade. And why is it that the leadership of the black community is always called into question?
Where is the leadership?
Leadership.
The black leadership.
The absence of leadership.
And it goes back to leadership, but that leadership has to come from the community.
But no one ever questions the leadership of white parents who let their kids burn down and vandalize their college campus.
These are just young college students who think they're playing some kind of a game with police officers.
You know, sometimes they don't even call a white riot a riot.
Party gone awry.
Some fans got a bit too rowdy after the win.
A dispute, a bloody brawl.
There was some type of altercation.
Waco, 170 arrested, 9 people dead.
They're not thugs.
Baltimore, no deaths, but it's a riot, chock full of thugs.
Thugs.
Just thugs. What if the media portrayed white rioters the same as black protesters? Let's switch the audio and see how it plays out.
Breaking news, violent protest.
What you're looking at is the unraveling of the civil society.
Criminals and thugs.
And they're raising hell and they're destroying property.
These idiotic thugs, rioting and looting, are hurting their own people.
Wild animals burning buildings down.
Especially if they know the media's all there, right? Got the cameras on everyone. It's become its own reality show.
Who acts like that towards a police officer?
Think for yourself. Don't let racist media color your perceptions. Demand fairness in media coverage.
And in my paper, I propose to do an academic study dealing with race relations in the U.S., more specifically talking about the Freddie Gray case up in Baltimore that happened over the summertime. And with that, I chose, basically in conjunction with another class I had this semester, with Dr. Kramer, interracial comm. Chose to do the study that basically talked about differences in presentation style by black and white reporters and differences between how their own audience interpret their stories, and also to compare the number of black and white sources used for those stories. So some more background on that case. It was from April 12, 2015 to May 1st, 2015, when 6 officers were indicted in the Freddie Gray arrest in which he died. Part 1 of that study really focused in on excuse me. Part 1 of that study focused on news coverage, and looking at news coverage, I focused, basically split it down between national and local coverage. So like local coverage would be like the local Boston stations there, as well as major network stations like CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, and how they portrayed the Freddie Gray coverage from time slot of 6 to 10 p.m. And as you know, that time slot is the most watched time period of the day. So it was important to watch those segments and see how those particular channels were covering that. That was part 1 of the proposed study. Part 2 was a viewer analysis of those news stories. The process involves about 100-200 people to watch stories and then to analyze them. It'd be a story-by-story basis. One person would be assigned a story to watch, and then from there they would be asked to complete a survey deciding whether or not they felt that the story was presented with bias from the anchor or reporter who was covering the story, and also to note the number of black and white sources used, which would be like the people who they would interview and talk to about that particular story. And then once they filled that out, we would divide them up into focus groups. So each focus group would have like a designated person who would kind of be the moderator and take charge of the focus group. And they would document the general consensus of the group's opinion of news coverage of the Freddie Gray case, the overall opinion on the Black Lives Matter movement, as well as the group's thought on the state of race relations in America and what the group thought that they could be, what could be done to improve race relations in America today. And with that, concludes my presentation of the agenda setting theory and how it relates to other media-based theories. Hope you learned something from this. Hope you enjoyed it. And good luck to you in all your other finals you got coming up in class. Goodbye.